If you've played around with a home server before, you know how hard it is to keep track of all the services, containers and apps you're running, let alone monitoring all of them in a consistent way. In the past, I've been trying out Homer as a dashboard for my home server applications that apparently supports tracking all of your services as well as monitoring their online status. What I like about Homer is how clean and simple it can look, that the user has total control on what gets displayed, etc. But it lacks so many things for me personally that I've decided to start writing my own home lab dashboard in this upcoming video series. I always wanted to have a home server dashboard that I can edit at runtime. I don't really like the fact that I have to edit the config file either by using Vim through an SSH tunnel, or even worse, having to get into the container itself to apply changes without having to redeploy. With Homer, at least to my best knowledge, it looks like you have to restart the container at least every time you change the config. I know changing the config doesn't happen that often once you're good to go, but it can be improved upon easily. Also, I'm always getting this "oops, looks like your offline" error, and little has been done by the maintainer to address this issue so far as I know. It seems to have something to do with the fact that I'm using a traffic reverse proxy, so my goal is to make something more simple that doesn't really reject any health checks if something's wrong with the subdomain's SSL certificate, and something that doesn't render the whole page unusable if there's some kind of connection issue. If the health check doesn't work, then so be it. I still want to be able to see all my services and be able to get to them with a single click. I also want to keep it very simple, no additional widgets like showing the weather in my area or any of that nonsense. No support for separate tabs either, at least not for now. I'm a strong believer that all of your stuff should fit on one page. Same goes for your resume, by the way. As far as the choice of technologies is concerned, I think that Next.js is the right tool for this, to be quite honest. I don't like people using Next.js for everything, which is pretty common nowadays, but I think it is a good match for this project. I'm serving static content for 99% of the time. Even if I enable updating the config from the UI itself, I can easily pass that through my Next.js server, update the config there, resulting in a server-side rendered updated page that then gets sent to the client again, which is perfect and all we need. Hopefully, if you're still watching, the boilerplate part is done by now. If you want me to make a whole video series on me developing this and see me working on some of my other side projects, like or dislike the video, subscribe to get me past the 100 subs, hack the algorithm, and comment if you have ideas that I may want to implement in this project. The goal is to publish the code eventually, obviously, but first and foremost I want to get it to run faultlessly on my own home server and then share it with everyone. Maybe you've seen that I'm using themed UI for this project, which is a not so popular but absolutely wonderful CSS and JS library, at least from a developer's perspective. It also has this very powerful theme schema that allows you to easily add a dark theme, for example, and the only real downside is that it's not that well maintained. What I mean by that is that the maintainers of this package haven't kept up with the latest major releases of some of their dependencies, so I had to actually downgrade this MDX package here in this case to be able to get this thing to compile it all. But enough talking for now, let's get started. so far I've been installing all of the dependencies. As I said, the version 2 of Next.js, which is a dependency of theme UI, doesn't seem to work currently with Next.js 12. That's why I downgraded to the latest version that was available before the 2.0, which is the 1.6.22, which should be fine, I think. And now I added a base theme here. Of course we will change this, but for now this is fine. And now let's test if we can use this primary color here. So we can just go to our H1 here and use this shorthand notation provided by ThemeUI. And I believe we have to add this pragma as well to be able to do this actually. So it's just this comment line you have to edit at the top of every file where you want to use this SX shorthand thing, because if you don't do it then you get this error here that this property doesn't exist, but with this pragma it works out. And as I said, let's test if we can give this thing the primary color, which should be some shade of blue here. And no, that's not it. Let's refresh here. Still doesn't work. So, oh, are we even running yarn run dev? Ah, now it works. So our theme injection works. We are up and running with ThemeUI here, which I can show you here. So I will be setting up a base kind of setup for now and not talk too much. If something comes up I will explain it, of course, but for now we will mainly be using here the box, the flex, the grid component maybe, and these are just styled versions of their HTML counterparts. Like this is just a div with some preset styles on it, and of course it supports all of these properties like P for padding, M for margin, PX for horizontal margin, color, and so on. And these are all also aware of the theme here. So we will of course extend this theme object here. We will add dark mode, light mode later on, but for now this is fine. We will just start here, provide some rough basis for the dashboard, and this will probably be everything we will manage to do in this episode. But for now, just lean back and have fun watching me struggle with this. a basic setup here. We're rendering out 2 of these box items here. I guess, yeah, we're printing out both. So let's give this thing some styling here. Let's say padding, maybe. So how this works when you provide an array to CSS property like padding here, it means that you're providing the different values for the different breakpoints, and this is something I really love about theme UI. So let's say maybe on the smallest viewport we want to give it 1 rem, then on the tablet one also 1 rem, and on the desktop viewport maybe 1.5 rem. So this works. Let's give this the white color for now. It doesn't have to look great for now, we just want to get going here. Then we want, of course, a border, and it's 1 pixel solid white, and we want a border radius of maybe 3 pixels. Alright, and now we are returning all of these boxes here. Maybe each of them should have a margin, and thinking let's maybe just go with 0.5 for now. This. Yep, this works. The problem is we don't want the first element to have a margin here on the left, so I don't know. Let's maybe not do that for now. I don't like this nth child stuff, so maybe we can do this differently, but for now this is fine. Every element has an ID. I'm using the new React 18, I think, use ID hook, which returns a UUID. I know you're not supposed to use this for keys here, but let's maybe say like maybe do it like this. While my tilde gets totally hidden on this font here, which is not the greatest, I have to say. It's really hard to see. Holy smokes. This font is actually unusable. I have to change it. This is horrible. Alright, I'm back with a better font here, and now I actually want to fix this spacing here. The heading should begin, so the elements should begin where the heading begins, so that we don't have this weird missing spacing here. So let me do that quickly. Alright, so I told you I wanted to fix the missing spacing between the elements as well, so that's why I divided this space here. So if we actually inspect this here, we can see now that the line divides them in the middle, and also here we can see that this is the margin that every element has, and this is the padding that every element has. So this is looking good for now. The spacing matches the heading, and we can keep going now. So of course the goal is that we can later access each and every service by clicking one of these tiles here, and we also want to be able to edit these and remove these during runtime. But for now I think it would be good to fake some kind of backend response that renders these, and then we can make these look good, and then we can add the edit and remove functionality. So yeah, maybe it's now time to actually export this interface here. I think I need a common folder. Nobody's using TypeScript or something. Anyway, let's call it maybe model, and then let's just do it here, who cares. So we have the dashboard item, we want to give it an ID, maybe a user specified name. Let's actually look at the Homer dashboard, which is our inspiration for this whole series here. Do we have one? Alright, so there is a image URL, I guess. It's also string. Then we have status for sure. For now this can be a string, but actually I want to have a dashboard item status, which is like, no, it's let's say name, and then something like this. Why am I adding string quotes here? I'm not thinking right now. Alright, so this thing, this thing will go here. And now, what else does this thing have? I think this model is fine for now. Let's fix this here, fix the missing import. Doesn't like that this folder is outside of everything. Oops, yeah, of course we have to pull it in here. And now, oh, our component is called the same way our interface is called. Well, maybe we should just prepend an I to every of our interfaces, and now it should work, no? It was just a name override. They both use the same name, so I thought I wouldn't have to import I guess that only works in Next v3, right? That's one of their features. Alright, so this is good for now. Let's make some of these optional to make the errors go away, and now this looks good again. So maybe we should really think about creating a component for the dashboard item here. So this thing should be a component really. So let's do this now. Fix all imports. Alright, I struggled a bit with this destructuring notation and adding prop types here, but yeah, I don't know, now it works, so this should be fine. We can now use the dashboard item component here, so this should return a dashboard item. And it gets the item property here. this. Dashboard item is not defined, we have to import it. It's like this, so it's missing a key. I really don't like this because the resulting element has a key, right? So maybe we actually have to do this on the outside. Which is okay, I guess, because the outside loop controls the list, so it's fine. It's fine like this. So let's see if it still works. Yep, still works. So now we've created this component here in a separate file. This looks all good. Yeah, let's maybe take a look again at how the Homer thing looks. So if you have multiple of these, they get stacked like this, so there's no real vertical spacing. Yeah, I think it looks good. It also has sections like this. I think we can add the sections later. For now, it's maybe best to just try to create something with some fake thumbnails and heading and description. Oh yeah, by the way, we probably need a description, right? So description will also be a string, of course. So yeah, I'll stop talking again and see you in a few minutes when we have something. So here we want to specify a variant called item icon, or maybe let's just call it item icon, and we have to add this to our theme now. So I think there is an images. Yes, there is an images object, and we will use camel case, I guess. Camel case, and now we can say width 150, height 150, border radius did it work? Not really. Okay, this one works. That's actually really cool. So, this is too large for my taste. Yeah, let's go with 100 for now. Of course, our image needs some padding. Let's actually style the image component itself. Padding on a small screen, 1 RAM, on a larger one, 2 RAM. 2 is not that great. Let's maybe say half a RAM. And maybe only vertically. It really wants this alt prop, Now that I think about it, let's maybe pull out the styles again, because we want to keep it as clean as possible, and we already specified this variant which we can style in the theme itself. So let's actually add this here like so, and it still looks nice. Okay, this is good. Let's add a few more of these to see how they align. Okay, nobody cares. Alright, so now we have to implement the wrapping here. I'm not sure how Homer does it. Probably the whole section wraps. And I also, actually, to be quite honest, I don't want this object here to contain the structure, like, let's say section 2, and then that these are below that prop in the object. So I don't want this kind of tree-like structure in this list here. I just want to have a list of all items, and maybe it's better to contain their group or section info. To have it as a property of the actual item. I think this is good because when you change it, then this can get updated here, or maybe they can be completely agnostic of this and we can later say that the dashboard section contains a items array and this is a dashboard item array, and like this we can edit the sections themselves, add and remove items, and then this should work out nicely. We don't want to actually hold all of the items in the iDashboard section, but only the IDs of them are enough. So yeah, let's maybe say that we want to map out all of the sections as well, and the sections will be returning flex items. So map out dashboard sections. You can call the function like this, and it gets the mocked sections. Alright, this actually works. I'm pretty surprised, but still happy. So I added a filter function that, of course, this has to be, the mocked items have to be replaced with real ones later, but for now, the list of returned items is filtered and we only want to get those items that belong to a section. So if the items, which in this case is a property of a section, which is a string array, so this string array items, if it includes the ID of one of the mocked items, then it gets added to this array here. We can actually even call this, give it the type of iDashboard item array, and this needs a key still, so let's say useID dash useID dashboard section. Alright, cool. Now we have one section here. Let's try to add another section that contains some of the other items here. So 1 and 3 are taken, 2 and 4, then 5 and 6 in the last section. So we should get 3 sections now. Yeah, just go. And it works, nice. So let's style the sections a bit, and then I think this should be enough for the first part. Obviously the styling is not done. This looks awful, but I mean the basic structure is here, right? We want to create something like this. We have sections now, we have items that belong to these sections, and yeah, looks good. So let's style the sections a bit so that they look a bit separated, and then we can call it a day for part 1 of this series. And of course, if you like what you're seeing here, give this video a thumbs up. I yet have to reach the 100 subs, so feel free to sub as well. Will make me happy for sure to see more subs, even though I'm just doing this for fun, at least for now. So yeah, but maybe we want to justify content like start, X direction column. How does this look? Okay, looks good. And then maybe every section should have a padding right of 1 rem or something. Alright, cool. And then we actually to reduce the vertical margin that these items have. So this is a bit too much for my taste. Alright, so now we have 3 sections here. This is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. Let's actually give each dashboard section a title. of course we have to add this to the model, so title string, and maybe this is optional. Okay, cool, now we have a title. Let's add a title. So we are returning one React node every time. So maybe like this, and then we add a themed h3. Yeah, not like this. Themed dot h3. Where does this belong actually? So items and title, and then we just display the title here. Okay, looks good, but we maybe want to have it in here. That's perfect. Now we want to just give it a padding of 1 rem. That's too much. 0.5 rem. Okay. Okay, this looks good, and now we have to style the h3 variant in our styles here, so let's grab this one. Alright, cool. I'm satisfied with this for the part 1. As I said, feel free to comment below if you have suggestions for this tool. It will be a very simple home lab / home server dashboard. I will make it work for all breakpoints, so you can even use it from your phone, and it will look somewhat like Homer here, but be more configurable. You will be able to edit it during runtime and so on. And yeah, hope to see you around next time as well. We will start with the CSS, maybe add the first real data, and then after that we will work on the edit functionality. And yeah, hope to see you around. I know that not many people are using theme UI, and that this is quite weird for many front-end developers, that you write CSS like this inside your JS, but I really like it. Of course, Vue does this very similarly, but I'm using React, and this is a great way to add this kind of functionality into React. And it's actually not considered inline styling or whatever, because as you can see, if you inspect these elements here, then you see that these are actual CSS classes that get kind of generated for you, and then you get the styles here. So yeah, thanks again, see you next time, bye bye.